Hello, friends, and welcome to Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader. Today we find ourselves at Kiava Gama in the manufactorum, where we have seen the enemy and we have crossed blades with them. But at the moment, we are still making our way to the big guy. We haven't gotten there just yet. Looks like Gladius took a bit of a beating on that last combat. Argenta didn't do well. Cassia didn't do so well. And Pascal did not do so well. But we are up and we are moving and we shall persevere. This is Disabled. My name is Ed, and let's get into it. We need to go find the bad guy. First, though, let's see if this says anything interesting for us. The broken panel of the cogitator is sparking. Its blind, dark screens show nothing. We have a dying tech priest here. Someone to speak to, I imagine. This pile of human remains, carelessly tossed together, emits a suffocating stench. The torn, gutted bodies once belonged to tech priests, but you cannot spot even a glint of metal anywhere. All their implants are gone. Suddenly, one of the ravaged bodies makes the tiniest movement. The tortured man's lips move ever so slightly, his half-closed eyelids twitching. Approach the still breathing man. Oi! The man can barely breathe without his respirator implant. It is a miracle he survived the horrific vivisection, but it takes you a single look at the gaping wounds where the augment was ripped out to realize death is only a matter of time. As if having sensed your presence, the half-dead man looks at you and sharply inhales the hot air. Machine spirit, deliver me. The Venaric requiem coming from Pascal's box sounds solemn and grim. Upon hearing it, the man's mutilated face twists into a weak semblance of a smile. Who did this to you? My comrades. His voice is barely audible. It seems each word takes the man a great deal of effort. Machine spirit, has the Omnissiah truly abandoned us? Kiava Gama has fallen into the maw of the eternal enemy. The holy magi, they succumbed to heresy. The rest were stripped of their true flesh to feed the heresy. Preserve us, deliver us, deliver me from erring. Sacrifice living blood from vessels of the true flesh, while their heart is still beating after that oblivion. His eyes grow glassy. I knew you would come. I've waited so very long. Deliver me from my torment. What a horrible fate to be betrayed by one's own. I attest that the categorical requirements for assigning the status of martyr of the faith have been met: opposition to the enemy, preservation of adherence to dogma, and a brutal death. Requesting the right to extract the subject's organic matter for it to be used in the creation of an honorable servo skull. The man, who is minutes from death, wheezes weakly. It's an honor. I am thankful for the right to serve. Pascal, your request is granted. Leaning over the dying man, Pascal, in a decisive yet surprisingly respectful motion, cuts his throat. Wielding a long scalpel, it takes him mere moments to release the cervical vertebra from the hold of muscles and sinew, and to cut the vertebra, severing the head from the body. Okie dokie. Let your service continue, tech comrade.
This explorator is blessed with multifunctionality.
The device, now evidently used to chop bodies into pieces, was once an ordinary cooling fan. Wow. Okay. So, that's all hideous and horrible. Let's make our way
Keep your wits
around
about you.
and
Would you
down.
look at that?
Would I? Oh, I would. I would look at that. See if we can get that disarmed.
That's how it's done.
And we have some goods down here. Just normal stuff. Okay. Oh, there's a door. Let's move around some more.
I'm still new to the art of exploring.
That's kind of what I was thinking. Let me get
I have a nose for profit.
Gladius
and a taste for
around.
adventure. Let us not dawdle.
Him and his little servitor guys. Anyway, got two doors, actually.
Success is the only outcome I accept.
Well, it's the only one necessary. Off we go. We have two doors. Let's try them both out. We'll do this one first.
Always keep your eye on the prize.
And if it looks like a long way passageway, we'll try the other one. Nope, this is an enclosed space, so we'll get some exploring done in here.
My warp site reveals something.
Just as I planned.
Nice. As you approach the cogitator, you notice a number of deep scratches left by huge claws on its metal surfaces. Despite the apparent damage, the machine seems to be in working condition. Activate the emergency bridge lowering protocol. You touch the levers and the reels on the control panel and disturb the slumber of the spirits that reside within this cogitator. The machine dawdles as if still drowsy, but nevertheless performs its assigned function. The cogitator is silent, awaiting new commands. View the log. The log contains nothing of interest. The maintenance ritual schedule for the sacred machine that moves the bridge, an activation log, and a few notes of a religious nature entered by tech priests. Step away from the cogitator. Why do I have a feeling we'll be back? We can blow up the wall here, looks like.
I always get the job done.
Let's athletics our way across.
There.
We've got the door over there, got some goods over here. Nice, a med kit, always like that. A Melta Ultima. Huh. We might want to check that out for Pascal. Melta Ultima. He's got the Melta gun. This has better armor penetration, same rate of fire, higher range, which I very much like. Max ammo is lower. We will definitely give it a swapperoo though. It does more damage, it's just a better weapon all around. And we'll send that to cargo. Alright, very nice. Then we will try this cogitator. Something is howling within the metal housing. as if the machine spirits of this cogitator are lamenting some irreparable loss. Let's try to force access to the cogitator's systems. Tech use test succeeded. Your knowledge of machine spirits is sufficient to trick the system and subdue it to your will. A false query, a crafty manipulation of the controls, and you get what you want. You gain access to the cogitator's systems. The device's machine spirit can do nothing to thwart you, subdued by its defeat. It hides in the depths of its lair. Awaken the cogitator's machine spirit. You touch the levers and the reels on the control panel and disturb the slumber of the spirits that reside within this cogitator. The machine dawdles as if still drowsy, but nevertheless performs its assigned function. Oh! Oh, Batavy! The cogitator is silent, awaiting new commands. Step away from the cogitator. Okay, well, interesting. And we don't need to do that because we have already backdoored this thing. And all kinds of interesting things have happened. We have a lore warp to check out here.
The premonition runs true.
The marks of chaos seem to draw your eye and strike terror in you at the same time. Okay. I don't know why. So could I have done that in the combat? Like, what was the purpose of that activity that we just... I don't know. Like, I have no idea why this is here. If I had gone up and over instead of down here, could I potentially have wiped some of those dudes out, I guess? Huh. Well, we didn't do that, so ha ha ha. Joke's on us, I suppose.
I always have a backup plan.
Let's do some more exploring then before we jump into the next combat, shall we? We have goods and a cogitator hoopy. Multi-key. Alright. The cogitator's panel has dozens of breakers, buttons, handles, switches, and other control mechanisms. View the log. You discover the local data crypt with contents collected by either previous operators or the machine spirit itself. Using your access, you study the archives stored on this cogitator. Review the supply protocol. At first glance, the records look like a typical shipping report, but after further reading, it becomes apparent that the focus here is not ore or assembly parts, but augments extracted from living tech priests and spent mass, the flesh of the victims killed either during or for the sake of the machine rituals. Review the production protocol. The log looks damaged, the lines are uneven, and some of the values seem impossible. After a few minutes of studying the records, you feel your head begin to swim. The stored data can only be comprehended by a twisted mind touched by chaos corruption. Review the Ascension Protocol. This record looks like a sermon of some mad chaos worshipper. The log, clearly written from someone else's words, mentions the heart that exudes virtue and the cradle that rocks the child of truth. Step away from the cogitator. Interesting.
Rise to the top,
The
or get
whispers
left
told
in
me
the
a
dust.
secret.
Ah, got a trap here.
Success is the only outcome I accept.
Indeed.
Hey, what's that?
Just as I planned.
Trap number 2.
Do you see that?
I do. Can I fix it? Is the question.
I always get the job done. I always
The
keep my
whispers
options
told
open.
me a secret.
That's how it's done.
Fortunately, the corrupted servitor did not set that off. all these traps through here, but we were able to navigate them and bring us here. Which is where? Isn't this where the big bad guy was before? Okay, interesting. We have not been that way yet. And there's more this way too, so, okay.
Is there money to be made?
Keep your eyes open,
Hey,
make
your
sure...
virtuousness. How are you doing? I was born to wage war against darkness. I am always doing wonderfully when danger is near.
Okay. A desecrated altar to the Omnissiah. The purity seals have been torn off, the data slates with sacred code shattered, and some of the teeth on the gear adornments broken off as well.
Keep your wits about you.
I'm trying. I'm just waiting for the next boogaboo to jump out at me. More junk items, trophies, if you will. That looks suspicious. So does this thing hanging here. I don't like any of that. Back up. I don't like it. Let's send one person through. Let's send Gladius forward.
For commoners. I don't
See what
make
happens.
mistakes. I make profitable learning experiences.
Who's gonna run through here?
I always have a backup plan.
Okay. That leads back down to the roundabout. Hey, not cool, bro. Fortunately, I didn't take any damage from that. What the heck? Where is it even at? I don't even see what it was that hit me. Well, I'm not putting Gladius through the cogitator because that is not his. That's not his thing. Yeah, no tech use to speak of. Okay.
I woke up with a feeling
right.
of wonder, as if
I'll
a field
bring-
of flowers was blossoming nearby.
I'll bring
A
everybody
child
down
was
here.
saved from death. 1,000 heretics were burning alive, begging and sobbing and howling.
Super cool, Argenta. Super, super cool. Okay, we have a computer here. Let's give it a check. The Cyber Guard accepts the access codes and sets mysterious mechanisms in motion. Okay, we opened up a new way. Cyber Guard. What
Let
the
us not
cheese is
dawdle.
that? Got a tech use check here. Let's see if we can improve our tech use numbers. We're at 100. Yes, by far Pascal is our leading man on that. There's a tech use item. Let's swap the glove out for the moment as well. I think that's probably got us all maximized. Yeah, we're at 88 now. I like that better.
The machine god grants me insight.
This large device is a cargo lift used for transporting parts. Well, thanks for that. I don't know that any of that mattered at all. Put the marksman bracers back on him. Leave the combi tool. I don't know why he didn't have it on. I must have taken it off for something else and just forgot to put it back together, I guess. Alright, let's head across this bridge. And another door. Before we go through this door, let's go back and explore the other side. I'm not really sure. Well, I don't know. That's a long damn way. Never mind. We'll stay where we are. We will keep pressing forward, and we'll head over to the other side later, I bet. We'll have an opportunity to do that. Try not to let me forget to go back over there.
Rise to the top or get left in the dust.
Okay, okay. More goods. Man, that would have been annoying if I went all the way over there and then this was all this was. Here's a tech use option. Pascal!
Operation successful.
Goods, mate. A treasury. Ooh. Flamer Digiweapon. A marvelous compact weapon in the form of a ring that allows the wearer to fire a flamer shot stream once per combat. Interesting. And a master-crafted power maul. Then we have another little good box here. And just some stuff. Okay. Now let's head back. We seem to have made our way fully through this direction. What is in the other direction? Run, run, run all day long. Here we are. Lovely. Got some goods up there. We'll get there. Maybe.
I always keep my options open.
The screen of this cogitator shows a scrolling line of repeating technolingua. Staring at the obscure symbols gives you a headache. Does it indeed now? Okay. Oh, well, we know where that is. We've been there. Back across. Up this way.
Is there money to be made?
There might be. Okay. More goods. And back into that room we've already been into. Okay. Let's go back to the spinny wheel and see if we can spinny the wheel again. We've already been on this side. That's how we got in here. But we did not go on this side. Interesting. The system accepts the access codes. The clanging of moving bolts indicates the door has been unlocked. Something tells me this is taking us to the bad place. Let's hop in and see what happens. Okay. That's hideous. No clear and obvious ambush here. I don't know what the flesh mass is about, but I'm not here for it. Another door up there, I think. Okay, unless something drops from the ceiling.
Keep your wits about you.
Numerous wires and pipes run to the filthy cages, which are filled with what looks like a conglomeration of human bodies. You could not make out who was in the cage, but bright blue sparks flash intermittently in the darkness while the mass of flesh twitches and shudders. Okay. Heinrichs casts a scrutinizing eye over one of the cages, before withdrawing his weapon and approaching to examine what lies inside. Look at the cage closest to you. Through the metal bars, you see it truly is a pile of human bodies, or something that used to be. The monstrously deformed bodies have fused together in places, while others were severed using saws and knives, leaving wounds, seeping pus, and slime. Wounds that are agglutinating and sprouting tendons. Rods connected to wires that run to a nearby cogitator bristle across the flesh. One of the human heads turns to you. Mercy. Even attempting to speak causes the mutant pain, but he bears the agony and forces out the words, Mercy. Make it stop. Study the mutants closely. You examine the pulsating mass of flesh. The creature in the cage seems to be composed of several bodies joined together. You see no sutures or any other means by which the separate parts could have been connected. Among the layers of meat you can discern large knots of muscle, various limbs, exposed bones, parts of faces, and entire heads. Only warp sorcery is capable of creating such an abomination while preserving its ability to live on. What is this? Heinrichs takes in his surroundings and once again fixes his attention on the contents of the nearest cage. I'm beginning to have some idea. The Lex Mechanic mentioned the inhabitants of the lower levels who had been imprisoned in their homes. He said some of them were brought here. The cultists did something to those poor people in their own home, and now they are studying the result. They're people, monstrously mutated, but still people. Heinrichs nods grimly. Yes, this is what warp sorcery has done to them, to be precise. I have seen many mutants whose features have been distorted under the effects of the archenemy, but this is something beyond all imagining. The Lex Mechanic talked about some kind of slag waste disposal and chaos symbols on machines. What are the archenemy's minions doing to the people of the lower levels? To know the workings of dark sorcery means allowing corruption into oneself. Heinrich scowls. These are warp mutations, no doubt. Perhaps there was some side effect. That is why they were brought here, to be connected to senses and cogitators. Even fallen tech priests who have rejected the Omnissiah are driven by a perverted hunger for knowledge. Why hook them up to cogitators? Heinrichs carefully studies the screens of the computing machines. Lingua technis. Corrupted by the scrap code, I'm sure. It's unlikely we will be able to extract anything of value from their data crypts. Thinking, Heinrichs clenches his fist and bites down on a knuckle, and then recoils when the mutant from the nearest cage reaches a hand out to him through the bars. You. A female face watches you from within the gloom of the cage. Even though half of her head has been turned into a mess of bones and lumpen growths, her single eye looks at you with a surprising amount of intelligence. You promised! You promised us! Her words are echoed by other voices in the depths of the cages. Heinrichs leans toward the cage, but at sufficient distance to ensure the mutant cannot reach him. Who are you talking to? What did they promise you? And who are they? You! You took us from the inferno! You promised us a reward! You! Her face contorts in a grimace, and the creature's lips stick together like melted wax. I'll be damned! They can still speak! They remember the people who did this to them! Heinrichs balls his fists in a powerless rage. Then he frowns in thought. Perhaps a little biomancy will allow us to draw the fragments of knowledge out of them. Or it could trigger further changes. Adira curses furiously. A little biomancy. This is a tangle of flesh and bone that by some freakish miracle still happens to have a soul and a mind. Come on, Iceman. Let them die in peace already. Heinrichs turns to Adira. You do not see his face, but you do see Adira suddenly shrink and cast her eyes down. What do you want to do? My psycho abilities allow me to affect the human body. It is one of the most effective tools to use against individuals who resist questioning. But if you're suggesting that I want to use it, I think you are getting a little ahead of yourself. Fair enough. The effect of warp energy will likely lead to an explosive reaction. I do not know the precise mechanism of this mutation. The result could be even more monstrous than its current state. Well, I think we're going to have to be dogmatic in this case. I am happy to let these poor people die, but if they can give us what we need to prevent this from happening to more people, then it's what's going to happen. If there is something that will make them talk, we must use it. You think so? Tiny fragments of data that could prove worthless and even harmful to us, in exchange for participating in this torture. It seems to me your mind is already made up. These people need deliverance from their suffering. He made a good point. It's probably not going to be useful, so let's not do it. Heinrichs wavers another moment, and then leans over the cogitators. Each mutant has cables attached. I may not know the nature of these machines, but it isn't too difficult to increase the voltage. Ah, this switch here. You hear the crackle of electricity. The wires glow with blue sparks, and the creatures locked in the cages drop lifelessly to the floor. The sharp tang of burned meat hangs in the air. That's that then. But do you know what bothers me, Rogue Trader? The number of people here. There are too few. The lower levels of similar manufactorums are inhabited by millions. What happened to the rest of them? Heinrich shakes his head. I know I won't like the answer. Let's go. We still haven't done what we came here to do. We have not. We have a thing here, though. The screen of this cogitator shows a scrolling line of repeating technolingua. We've already read that. Okay. Alrighty. Pa 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 pa. Same. Staring at the obscure symbols gives you a headache.
I always have a backup plan.
Aye. Same. Okay. Lots of can't do anything with this.
Is steeped in corruption, which means that it must be cleansed with fire down to the last crevice.
Sister, tame your fervor. Your zeal is laudable, but first I must ascertain the intentions of the archenemy, not crush its manifestations without a second thought.
Yeah. Sister.
Let us not dawdle.
Chill your ardor, lady. Explosive barrels never make me feel like we're in a great place. Why do I feel like we're going to get jumped here shortly? A lot of nothing, which makes me very nervous. Okay, well, let's go in here and see what happens. None of this looks good. The massive cogitator grows out of the metal bulkheads like a grotesque tumor. A hollow roar sounds from deep within the metal housing. Whatever spurred the computer into action It has enough power to supply a small command center. As soon as your eyes fall upon the cogitator, you feel a tingling in your temples. Every nook, every component of the machine radiates a sense of wrongness, one that is difficult to explain, but no less palpable for that. It is as though the construct itself defies the laws of physics and perspective. Heinrichs makes a warning gesture. His voice, ringing slightly with tension, is threaded with disquiet. Stop, Gladius. That is a creation of the archenemy. Don't go near it. You have done enough for me in my mission. Don't put yourself at risk now. As soon as Heinrichs takes another step toward the cogitator, it emits a deafening shriek like hundreds of metal needles driving into toughened glass, as though sensing the stranger. Wincing, Heinrichs approaches the control panel and bends down toward the screens. Despite the heat clogging the room, you feel an ice-cold breeze. Heinrichs is clearly using his psyker abilities to try to fend off the pernicious effects of the Chaos artifact. The Omnissiah's grace has not touched this object. This mechanism was not desecrated, but born flawed and unnatural. Iron most profane. Pascal unhurriedly produces a data slate. Initiating observation log. Let not fear stand in the path of knowledge. Keep your distance and wait. A minute passes, then another. You watch Heinrichs examine the cogitator. His eyes scan the screens, his hands darting from the reel to the lever, sometimes hovering uncertainly over the next switch, which immediately receives a coating of frost. At some point you hear his voice, almost a whisper, barely audible above the clanging, roaring machine. Sacrifices. More and more sacrifices every minute. Heinrichs looks at you, his eyes darker now, appearing almost black in his white face. Hecatomb determinans. The womb of this cursed machine is down on the lower levels. The auxiliary enumerator controls the system for delivering molten waste under the manufactorum's main building. This cogitator is fueled by the energy harnessed from thousands of people, who are flowing beneath our feet as slag waste as we speak. But I cannot even begin to imagine the reason for sacrificing all these people. It's inconceivable. Now we know why the fabricator censor prized this monster so highly. The cursed tech priest and his associates created something that went beyond the limits of the Omnissiah's power. This machine is designed to process myriad possibilities using warp sorcery. It has almost finished its task. It predicts the future, Gladius. Predicts the future? How's that even possible? Do not attempt to gain any insight into the essence of the machines corrupted by the archenemy. At least, not if you value your very soul. I have encountered the heretics' mechanical abominations before. To truly fathom their nature is to allow a particle of death into your heart. Heinrichs is silent for a few moments. But the fruit they bear, no matter how abhorrent their instruments, the fruit they bear could be useful. Adira opens her mouth to speak, but then drops her gaze awkwardly. Heinrich's clouded gaze suddenly clears and he glares at the cogitator. No, the cult's filthy ravings are not worth that. What we can extract from its storage drives will be enough. This decision is on your conscience, Heinrichs. Heinrichs vacillates for another second, then shakes his head as though clearing away mental fog. I almost succumb to the archenemy's old trick, the lure of the unattainable, the primary of all the traps that chaos sets for unwary souls. Heinrich's movements are exact and purposeful, unlike his earlier operation of the cogitator. One after another, the cogitator screens begin to fade to black, and the roar coming from inside the machine quietens to a barely perceptible howl, in which you imagine you hear notes of dejection. Heinrich bends over the keys and flinches as if from an electric shock. His head snaps back unnaturally, and you see his lips moving. The cogitator lets out a roar that grows louder by the second.
I will exterminate every last one of you.
Okay, well, let's get Cassia in a place of safety. Heinrich's, I'm sorry, Gladius. We'll pull Gladius here. Argenta can go here. Heinrich's can go by Argenta. And we'll move his bird here, where it can buff a good area. Adira. I don't see a good spot to put her. We'll put her behind Cassia, I guess. Well, let's do that with Gladius. Move Gladius back. Put Adira here. And we'll line Gladius up behind Cassia. Move Adira's bird over to get good benefit, but also out of Argenta's line of fire. And then Pascal. I guess he can go. We'll line him up behind Adira. Not a whole lot of options over here, and I don't want to be up front. Okay, start the battle. Cassia first. We'll buff
I'm not accustomed
Argenta.
to being ordered around. Me, if you insist, Lord Captain.
And we will
As
hit
the
rapid
Emperor
fire.
commands, I act.
Are you serious right now? Okay.
I'll do it.
Attack. Lovely. And turn. Cassie's back. Can I hit that without hitting anyone else? Hello? I can. Let's swap out to the devastating staff. Nice. Let's drop frontline on the creature. And we will double the
If I may.
bonuses. And that's all I got. We'll end turn there. Gladius is next. So I will set
It's
myself
as
on
good as
fire.
done.
And then mitigate it a bit. Come on in.
Don't let your guard down.
Blade dance.
You should have thought twice before crossing me.
Lovely. Let's hit it with Blood Oath.
I've faced worse than this. You never stood a chance.
Nice. Heinrich stares at the smoldering ashes of the daemon and then at the destroyed cogitator. The furrow on his brow slowly smooths out. His face looks almost contented. The creation of chaos is no more. I hope the fabricator censor did not have time to pass on the secrets of this creature to his associates, and I hope that the survivors down on the lower levels can hold on till we liberate Kiavagama. I saw something happen to you, Heinrichs. What happened when you touched the machine? Heinrichs jerks his head and waves away the question, his movement sharp and unnatural. We'll talk about it later, but right now, Heinrich's eyes settle on you. I must thank you, Gladius. Without your help and cooperation, I doubt I would have reached the depths of Kiabagama and learned the truth behind my agent's dispatches and reports. I would never have ended up here, and I would never have succeeded in hampering the cult's activities. My business on Kiabagama is concluded. It is time to return to the mission that brought you to the industrial world. The only thing I'll ask of you is an audience when we return to the ship. Heinrich bows his head to signal that the conversation is over. Okay. I'm not sure I trust him in this situation,
Rise
but okay.
to the top, or get left in the dust.
Is that everything? Nothing else in here of interest? Well, we need to see what we can do about the sensor. See if any of these cogitators say anything different now. Nope. Still obscure symbols giving us a headache. Let's see if there's anything else for us here. We've already been here. I think. Have we? Maybe not. Or maybe we didn't fully explore it? I don't know. Let's find out.
Is there money to be made?
This is new. Why is this new? Huh, I don't know. It doesn't say. Maybe it's not new and I don't know. Let's run around and find out. Yeah, we've been down there. We did all that. That's all normal. That is what that is. We've seen
I
that
always have a
cogitator
backup
before.
plan.
Yep. Ear adornments broken off, blah blah blah. We did not go down here though, apparently, which is weird, but okay. Or down here. Like, what? Was this here the whole time? Okay. The crucified body had all of its augmetics removed. Judging by the abundance of blood, they were ripped out when the tech priest was still alive. Yeah, that's the implication we've been getting.
Over.
The vats, which were previously used to store fuel oil, have been turned into reservoirs for blood, an ingredient for the vile rituals that have replaced the orderly protocols of the manufactorum.
Let us not dawdle.
The tech priest tears himself away from reading his data slate and looks up at you. His respiratory augmetic is missing. Instead, the lower half of his face is covered in deathly pale artificial flesh. You take note of the multitude of fresh augmetics attached to his head. They seem to have been inserted haphazardly, and pus is seeping from the untreated wounds. I heard your footsteps in the void. You are Von Valancia's, are you not? Pascal exchanges a series of Benaric signals with the tech priest before saying menacingly, initiating arrest procedure. This unit is using a fabricated identification code, which constitutes a grade 4 transgression. Identify yourself. His white and lifeless lips stretch into a smile. My name is Dementz Hanueman. I believe it is familiar to you. This statement is false. This unit stands accused of identity theft. I am guilty of many things, but not the transgression you speak of. I have stolen nothing from you, my dead comrade, unlike many others who have indeed robbed you. Are you the one who stole Magus Tarzus' personal code and made an attempt on his life? No. Why would I do that? It was the work of the main hunter. Term not recognized. Is this a specialized term used by your branch of tech heresy? It is simply a name that fits him. You must have noticed by now that names are full of lies, haven't you, Pascal Hanueman? Mocking laughter burst from the heretic's lips. Smile ominously. You are a heretic, are you not? Merely a seeker of knowledge. However, the experiments I have conducted extend far beyond the allowed limits of an ordinary transmechanic tasked with maintaining a planetary Vox array. But ever since I received that strange signal, my ears have been open to what I had previously considered to be forbidden knowledge. Every night since then, I have been tuning my Vox station to that very frequency and listening to the voices. Am I a heretic? The fabricator censor did not think so. He conducted inspections, but he did not prohibit my research. Later, when a mysterious visitor revealed the truth to his optics, he came to me once more. I nurtured the scrap code for him in the depths of my mind. It lives there still, eating through my synapses and building new connections that are open to the new knowledge of change. Is freedom heresy? If so, then I am a heretic. The reason for the failure of this unit's operations has been established. You have fallen victim to the cognitive corruption of chaos. Your computing processes have been disrupted. You are defective. Defective? I reveal the truth I comprehend, just as the Omnissiah commands. Meanwhile, your mind thrashes about within the cage of data vows. So, which of us is defective? I'm giving you a chance to explain why you're using the name of another. Another? I have the right to bear this name. It is my humble inheritance which I received from Archmagos Amarnat. To renounce it is to betray his ideas. The blessed Amarnat taught us that the cycle must be discontinued, and it seems I have become his best student. Now I aspire to know all, comprehend all, as is the Omnissiah's will. Blasphemy! Should you continue the sacrilegious mentions of sacred litanies and heretical perversions of the blessed Amarnat's philosophy, you will be destroyed. You wish to sound outraged, but I sense your curiosity. I understand. Knowledge is intoxicating. This craving for new knowledge gnaws on me as well. But be patient. I am deciphering a great mystery, and my name became the start of the key. I analyzed the archives and found it in places where it should not be. Hanueman, Hanueman, Hanueman. I kept seeing this marker upon the traces of a great plot, of the deception created by Archmagos Amarnat. No sound mind is capable of such twisted cunning, but my mind was no longer sane. It could no longer stay within the narrow confines of the norm. Each new discovery loosened the imperatives of obedience and granted ever greater freedom. I developed. I avoided the traps of the maimed hunter who seeks to hide the truth. But words mean little. Did you want me to show you the truth? His pale lips spread into a smile. Fine then. Show me your truth. The tech priest turns his data slate around. Its vid screen is covered with green runes performing an ungodly dance of computation. Pascal casts a quick glance over the data slate and says with contempt, "The sacred logic is impaired. Your calculations are irrational." "Yet they are still correct." "Pascal, what is this mishmash of numbers?" "It is all unholy nonsense. A betrayal of pure logic, the fruit of a diseased mind that has renounced the fundamental laws." Pascal's vox is raspy like the dry throat of an ailing man. "Your calculations lack sense. They are riddled with errors." They do and they are in this place, but there is another place where they have the right to exist, where nothing and nothing can add up to become something, where the mathematical zero can perish and decay, and infinity can measure itself. A wail comes from Pascal's box. The warp. You use warp technology. It is forbidden. But why? The heretic's insinuating voice sounds surprisingly calm. Listen in silence. I altered the planetary Vox array. I replaced promethium with fuel made from the souls of servo-servants. The sum of all knowledge that exists in the world lies in the warp, and I am extracting it. Did you think it's sacrilege? I think it's sacrilege not to do it. I think it's hypocrisy to reject warp technology, to betray the Omnissiah's commandment that we are to know and comprehend all of creation. With an icy smile, the heretic hands Pascal his data slate, showing the dancing, blasphemous green symbols. Do you want to know everything about yourself, about me, about the maimed hunter, about Amarnot? Absolutely everything? Pascal's mechadendrite carefully accepts the data slate, and after a brief pause, shatters it with its hydraulic servo pincher. His voice is resolute. Not at such a cost. Pascal, do you have any preferences regarding the killing of your former tech comrade? Pascal switches to Technolingua, his vox erupting in a series of binaric signals. There is no need for secrecy. Let him understand. The heretic nods in your direction with a smile. Pascal glances at you with worry and says in Gothic, his voice doubtful. Following a voluntary surrender, I will be willing to commute the punishment from immediate destruction to arrest and isolation for the purposes of conducting an exhaustive interrogation. Does that not violate some protocol or other? Indeed, tech comrade. Does it not violate the dogma of purity? Pascal says nervously. Your possible familiarity with matters related to the fate of the blessed Amarnot justifies this violation. Does it, though, Pascal? If you think it best. The heretic's deranged smile remains on his dead lips. Request denied, tech comrade. You will have to pull what I know out of my head.
I'll make an example out of you.
Excellent. Alright, Cassia first. Drop her there. Argenta next. What do we got here? We've got a servitor, Dementz, whatever the hell that is. That thing isn't working yet. I'm going to stress yet, though. It's not just these three things. There's a Vox Skull, Combat Servitor, Corrupted Rust Stalker, saw those. Dementz, Corrupted Servitor. Oh, those are mine. Yeah, those are mine, those are mine, those are mine. That's not mine. Another Vox Skull. Okay. Okay, it is just this for now, anyway. Alright. Let's pull Argenta up here. Gladius. How long? Oh, he goes immediately after. Perfect. Let's stick him out here then. Let's get him right here, and he's going to go take care of that corrupted Rust Stalker, or try to. Heinrichs. He does not go till almost the very end, because he's Heinrichs, and that's how he rolls. We will dump him here. And his bird is fine. Adira. We'll bring her back. Let's bring her bird in as well. And then, well, here. Actually, let's put it behind her. Pascal. Okay, Heinrichs. We'll pull him back. And we'll put Pascal up. Alright, let's start. Cassia first. I think she can buff Gladius and get right into that. Oh, we're on the wrong staff here. Let's finish that up.
Isn't this a job for the serfs?
It could be. Let's drop a front line right here.
Me? If you insist, Lord Captain.
And buff it up. And then let's have Gladius start. He can jump to
I'll
here.
make it happen. Consider this a taste of what's to
Beautiful.
come.
And
I'll
then
see.
Blade Dance.
Should have thought twice before crossing me.
No Ruststalker problems for us, buddy.
Who if not me?
Get on the servitor. That's it for this turn. And Cassia. Let's do a point of curiosity. Let's get it over here. Beautiful. That'll let him set himself on fire and then step right in there on those guys. Let's move the front line up,
Isn't this a job for the serfs?
It is. Back line. Can go here. And rear can go here. And we'll end that there. Gladius is going to set himself on fire. And then
It's
make
as
an
good as done.
adjustment. Come on up. Blade Dance.
The best defense is a good offense. Consider this a taste of what's to come.
And we'll jump. Beautiful. Looks like that's all he can do at the moment.
Your end was inevitable.
Definitely made some... Oh, did it die? I guess it died, caught on fire and died? Okay, cool, cool. Let's analyze.
But of course.
And I guess I'm going to shoot Gladius here, which is always awesome.
Was it you?
Well,
Or-
he dodged it, so good on him, I suppose. And can I hit this guy with sensory
Anything else?
deprivation? Beautiful. Alright. And let's go ahead and hit Heinrich
Will do.
before warning. And end turn. Argenta is next. I think I can go here. I don't want to hit me. If we can avoid it. There we go.
Rejoice in battle! With you, my emperor!
Lovely. He did not enjoy that at all. Let's run and gun. Have I got enough to do this? I do.
As the emperor commands, I'll act.
Perfect. Alright, Dementz is done. Pascal stands motionless as he stares at the heretic's corpse. After a long silence, he finally says in a hollow voice, I am taking his neural cogitator. The data contained within must be analyzed to supplement the catechism of maintenance and operation. I would advise against it. May be dangerous. Request denied. The value of the data justifies the risk. Pascal leans over the corpse, activates the sampling tool on one of his mechadendrites, and plunges it into the tangle of augmetics covering the heretic's skull. Okay. And ooh, the glow of dead stars. A nice plasma gun. I like it. Good range too. Hopefully it's better than what Pascal is currently using. We could certainly use the upgrade for certain sure. That was a much easier fight than I anticipated. I'm guessing we killed him fast enough that he couldn't do any of the terrible, horrible things he was going to be able to do. Yep, we read that already. A mishmash of steel, wire, and augmentations shaped by some madman into an unknown and frightening monstrosity. Let's get goods. Always and always and always. Got a tech use check.
This explorator is blessed with multifunctionality.
The car is filled with refuse, broken pieces of spare parts, chopped up lumps of flesh, bits of wire, and other rubbish.
Keep your wits about you.
Would you look at that?
Adaptive Flak Vest. The character wearing this armor will dodge 26% of average enemy attacks, reduces incoming damage by 25%, grants the wearer +3 deflection, 15% armor at the beginning of every combat. During the first 3 rounds, the bonus deflection is reduced by 1 and armor by 5% at the end of each round. Interesting. Plus 10% armor if the wearer's intelligence is more than 55. Interesting. That seems like some worthwhile stuff. Release the car brake. Can I get everybody off the tracks, please? Okay. Remove the obstacle.
The Inquisition taught me many things.
Did it? Watch out. Oh, didn't hit him. Okay. And the purpose of that was... nothing at all. Oh. A manual valve. Okay. Well, we've seen the value of that before. We've got a door here. Oh. And the game just auto-saved. Alright, friends. We are continuing to explore the manufactorum on Kiavagama. We found Dementz and took him down. We found the evil, corrupted cogitator. Actually, it's not corrupted. It was created that way. The created, corrupted cogitator. And took that down. And now we need to go find the sensor. But I think we'll need to get into all of those things next time. This has been Disabled. My name is Ed, and this has been the wonderful Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, as that helps me out tremendously. But truly, until we see each other again, make your way with love and light. thank you so much for joining me on this journey today. And goodbye.